Good morning to my lecturers. Here we are from Security Analysis and Portfolio Management subject. We would like to present about TRC Synergy Berhad and Malaysian Banking Berhad. Me, myself, Dinesh Raj, and my fellow mate, Danish Raj. Okay, first of all, we will go to the company background. I will be presenting about the TRC Synergy Berhad. As for the TRC Synergy Berhad, it's a principally an investment holding company listed in main board of Bursa Malaysia Security Berhad since 2002. Our subsidiaries are strategically present in Malaysia's construction and property development industry, complemented by the regional footprints in Australia hospitality, property development, and home building businesses. So as for the vision, we will resolve the challenges of the making the earth a better place to live, community by project. Next, for the mission, we understand our clients' goals and embrace them as our own, applying creativity, experience, integrity, and dedication to deliver superior solution to the world's energy, environment, and infrastructure challenges.
Good evening. So, as for Malayan banking Berhad, Maybank is among the best five banks in Southeast Asia with complete resources of more than USD 150 billion. So, it has a global system of more than 2,200 branches and workplaces in 20 nations, utilizing 46,000 representatives who serve more than 22 million customers. So, as for the vision of Maybank, advancing Asia's ambition with you. And as for the mission of Malayan Banking Berhad is humanize financial services across Asia by providing access to financial services to the profile at the fair terms and pricing, and to be always at the heart of the community. So now moving on to the SWOT analysis.
Moving on to the SWOT analysis, I'm talking about TRC Synergy Berhad. As for the strength, strong brand recognition. Since the infrastructure works as TRC Synergy strength, the company have no problem to find tender. Next is optimistic. The next is optimistic and have a reasonably good chance of securing some of the project in Sarawak. As for the weaknesses, face challenges in moving to other product segment when with its present culture. Next is financial planning is not done properly and efficiently. Next, need more investment in new technologies. As for the opportunities, government green drive, TIC Synergy Berhad bagged a 498.7 million contract from Putrajaya Holdings Sdn Berhad. As for the threats, difficult economic times and changing market preferences.
So as
Next, moving on to
for
English.
the Maybank, the strengths of Maybank are the largest bank in Malaysia in terms of number of branches. It has a customer base of more than 21 million, has presence in 17 countries across the globe. So the weaknesses are much of the banking operations are focused in and around Malaysia and Singapore, hence limited global penetration. And the next is much of the revenue comes from retail banking and Islamic banking. Less revenue comes from other offerings. So as for the opportunities are high opportunity to expand into countries like Laos once the bank gets the license to operate. So it's still on pending. And high opportunity to grow in investment banking in Hong Kong. And another opportunity is to growth in internet banking will increase the customer base. The threat for Maybank is changes in economic policies in Southeast Asian countries will affect the bank significantly, and the current macroeconomic scenario across the globe is affecting the bank.
Okay, next, moving on to the analysis. As for the HPR, which is also known as holding period return, is also a total return earned on an investment during the time that it has been held. A holding period is an amount of a time the investment is held by an investor on the period between the purchase and sale of security. According to the HPR reading of both companies, Malayan Banking had a good result. Next, moving on to HPY. HPY is also known as holding period yield, which is the rate of return realized on an investment in a bond, including dividend and interest. The holding period yield, as most as yield are, is expressed as a percentage. According to the HPY reading of both company, Malayan Banking has a better result than TRC. Next, moving on to the arithmetic mean. The arithmetic mean is the simplest and most widely used to be measure of a mean of or the average. It's also simple being involved taking of the sum of the company, then dividing the sum or by the count of the numbers that has been used in the series. According to the arithmetic reading of the both company, Malayan Banking had a good result. Next, moving on to standard deviation. The standard deviation is a statistic that measures the dispersion of a data set relative to its mean and in calculate has a square root of a variance. According to the result of standard deviation reading of both company, Malayan Banking Berhad had a good result. Next, moving on to coefficient of variance, is a statically measurement that shows how a set of data points is distributed around the mean of the set. In the other word, a set of data graphed in a CV equation is used to measure the variation in the points from each other and the mean. As we can see, TRC Synergy Berhad had a better result compared to Malayan Banking Berhad.
Okay. So, as for the portfolio selection, based on the analysis on Maybank and TRC, an expected return for this portfolio has been positive throughout the weightage, and it became in a positive in a decreasing order of 0.0491 to 0.0205. Since the expected return portfolio is in loss, it is better for the investors to not invest, as they will face loss if they invest in the portfolio. This is due to the decline of expected return. So speaking up about the standard deviation, in this case, the lowest standard deviation in the calculation of portfolio is 2.4576, with a weightage of 50% in Malayan Banking Berhad and 50% in TRC Synergy Berhad. So in this case, the weightage has been segregated equally between both companies. So as for the CAPM, which is also known as Capital Asset Pricing Model, um, it defines a model that describes the relationship between the expected return and risk of investing in security. It is basically based on the beta which is provided for the company. So overall, based on the portfolio analysis, the highest capital asset pricing model is 15471.5069, which is 100% weightage on Maybank and a 0% weightage on TRC, which produced a total of 36.1890 of APT at the end product.
Okay, next, moving on to the economic analysis. As for the TRC Synergy Berhad, this is a first industry of the national economy is the building industry. Next, moving on to the good economic condition and the stability must be needed in order to able to provide enough money or cash flow to start all the construction project. Next is construction industry involving investment or high cost and different components is often associated with the request of output.
So as for the Malayan Banking Berhad, it can be broadly be divided into two sectors and non-bank financial intermediaries. So there were a total of 9 domestically incorporated and 13 locally incorporated foreign commercial banks in Malaysia as at the end of 2008. So financial stability on this domestic front was maintained despite a heightened financial market volatility, as Malaysia was able to buffer owing to its depth of the domestic financial market and strong domestic institutional investors. So overall, domestic funding conditions were stable with improvements in the distribution of liquidity across banks, and financial institutions remain well capitalized and profitable. And now moving on to the industry analysis.
As for the industry analysis in TRC Synergy Berhad, as we can see, there are many construction companies which are more competitive than with the TRC Synergy Berhad. For example, Gamuda Constructions and Sunway Constructions. These companies are having a good economic condition and stability, but they have to go on the order to be enough to have the money to start a construction projects. So as we can see, the construction industry involving investment depends on the high cost and the different components that associate by the request output.
So, as for the industry analysis for Maybank, there are few competitors. So, Maybank have principal competitors such as Public Bank, CMB Bank, Hong Leong Bank, RHB Bank, HSBC, and Citibank. So, there is an aggressive competition strategy among the main banks. But since Maybank to you is more popular among the community, Maybank is not facing any pressure from other banks. And now we will be moving to the next, which is company analysis. As for the first, I would like to speak about current ratio. So current ratio is a liquidity ratio that measures a company ability to pay short-term obligations or those due within 1 year. So as for TRCC Energy, the current ratio is having a gradual increase, whereas Maybank is declining, as you can see over there, from 0.96 to 0.27. Um, so low values for the current ratio value less than 1 indicate that a firm may have difficulty meeting current obligations. So we can see that Maybank is having some difficulties. As for the quick ratio for both companies, Maybank is having a decline from 9.12 to 3.86, whereas TRC Synergy ended up with an increase in value for quick ratio. So companies with an acid test ratio of less than 1 do not have enough liquid assets to pay their current liabilities and should be treated with caution. So if the acid test ratio, which is also known as quick ratio, is much lower than the current ratio, it means that a company current assets are highly dependent on inventory. So now moving on to the next three ratios.
Next is the fixed asset turnover. The fixed asset turnover is the general used by the analysts to measure operating performance. This efficiency ratio compared to net sales or to fixed asset, which also known as the balance sheet, and measure a company ability to generate the net sale in the fixed asset investment. So as we can see on the 2017, TRC had a good result, which is counting on the 17.3. And on the 2018 and 2019, Maybank had a good result, which is 4.52 and 4.78. Next, moving on to the gross profit ratio. This is a profitability ratio that shows the relationship between gross profit and total net sale revenue. It is a popular tool to evaluate the operational performance of the business. As we can see, 2017, 18, and 19, TRC had a very good result. Next, moving on to the average receivable collection period. This is an amount of time it takes for a business to receive payment owned by a client in terms of account receivable. As we can see, 2017, 18, and 19, TRC had a better result by beating Maybank. Next, moving on to the technical analysis. As for the TRC Synergy Berhad 2017 graph, as you can see based on the chart, it shows that the price of the TRC Synergy for a year, which in 2017. Candlestick chart is used to observe the trend on the share price of TRC Synergy Berhad. Starting with the first month of 2017, which is on the 3rd of January, the price was starting to going on an uptrend, and it actually went up until 11th of September 2017. Next, we can see is the 2018's graph. The candlestick chart is observing a trend to share price of TRC Synergy Berhad. Starting on the first month, which is 3rd of January, the price starting going on a downtrend, and it actually went until the 4th of June 2018. Next. The next chart is based on 2019. The candlestick is observing a trend, which on the 3rd of January, the price started going on an uptrend, and it actually went up until the 15th April of 2019. Next is 2020. As we can see, based on the chart, there is the first month of 2020, which is the 3rd January, the price start to go on a downtrend, and it actually recovered on the 23rd March of 2020.
So now moving on to the technical analysis on Malaysian banking, Berhad. As you can see from the graph, um, during on the year 2017, it was having a gradual increase starting from January until the end of December, which was carried forward to the year 2018. As you can see, there was a continuation of the gradual increase, which started at 2017, which ended up at the month of May, before facing a huge downfall um, until the month of 27 June 2018. So these are due to some price fluctuations which happened throughout the year 2018. And now there are two more graphs, which is 2019 and 20. As you can see, after the gradual increase from 2017 to the mid-year of 2018, the graph was not looking as progressive as 2018. It was keep on facing a downfall and an increase as well. So, starting with the first month in year 2019, which was on 3rd of January, the price was starting to go on a downtrend because this explains the small changes on the share prices of Malaysian bank in Berhad. Um, so, at 2020, the price fluctuations were started at the same day as well, which was on 3rd January as well. And most of the reasons are due to fluctuations which happen in terms of macroeconomic determinants. Okay, so now to conclude, construction is an important part of the development and modernization process. While it is closely correlated with economic growth, it does not know it does not follow that providing incentive and increased spending on project necessarily leads to economic growth. So, in conclusion, it can be determined that the global construction industry continues to attract investors. However, the companies must make the right strategic decision to reduce the absorption of their profits by vertically integration strategies. So that's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you.